Ezra Brown just ran the second fastest 110-meter hurdles time by any teenager in history. Only one junior hurdler on the planet has ever gone faster. He broke his own national record twice in 7 weeks. Now he lines up for the biggest race of his life, and the numbers say he might be about to make history in Oregon. Let's start with the name you need to know. Ezra Brown, a hurdler from Dudley, North Carolina, now running for the University of Georgia. In the space of 2 months, he has rewritten what a teenager can do over the 110-meter hurdles. And he did it twice, on the same track, under 2 very different kinds of pressure. Here's how it started. At the US U20 Championships in June, Brown lined up in the preliminary round at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. He ran 12.95 seconds. That single run broke the North American under-20 record. It also pushed him to second on the all-time world junior list, behind only France's Sasha Zhoya. Zhoya's mark has stood since 2021. He ran 12.72 to win World U20 gold in Nairobi, Kenya. For 4 years, nobody under 20 came within real striking distance of that time. Brown had just gotten closer to it than any junior hurdler in history. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Brown didn't even win that race. In the final, Zacchaeus Brocks edged him by 0.02 of a second. Both men crossed the line in 12.98. It was one of the closest finishes in junior hurdling history, so close that officials needed the photo to separate them. Brown had the faster time on paper from earlier in the day, but he watched someone else take the national title home. That kind of finish would rattle most 19-year-olds. A near miss like that on your home track, in front of everyone who matters, can get inside a young athlete's head fast. Instead, Brown carried it straight into the World U20 Championships, back on that very same track in Eugene just 7 weeks later, round 1 of the World Championships. Same city, same stadium, same lanes he ran on in June, but a completely different level of pressure, with the entire world watching instead of just the United States. And Brown didn't just match his June performance under that spotlight. He beat it. He ran 12.89 seconds. That's a new North American U20 record. And here's the part that should worry everyone else in that field. He hit the final hurdle on the way to running it. Hitting a hurdle costs a sprinter time. It breaks stride rhythm. It throws off the landing into the run to the finish line. It should slow a runner down, not speed one up. Brown hit one and still produced the fastest time of his young career. Think about what that actually means for a second. His true top-end speed, the clean version of that exact run without the mistake, is faster than 12.89. That's the number that should make every rival nervous heading into the biggest race of the week. That time also moved him even further up the World Junior all-time list. He's now sitting at number 2, all-time, among every hurdler under the age of 20 who has ever laced up spikes. Sasha Zhoya's 12.72 is still out in front, still the standard nobody has touched. But Brown's 12.89 is faster than the winning time at every single World U20 Championships final ever run, with one exception, the year Zhoya won it himself. Ride that again. Brown's time from the heats alone would have been fast enough to win almost every World U20 title in the history of this event. So, why does all of this matter so much heading into the final? Because recent history at this exact stadium says fast qualifying times don't always translate into gold medals. 2 years ago, in Lima, Peru, Jacoby Tharp won the World U20 110-meter hurdles title for the United States. Tharp has since gone on to break the senior world record at just 20 years old, becoming one of the biggest stars the sport has produced. Brown is chasing that exact same path, the path from junior champion to global star, and this final is the first real test of whether he can walk it. There's also unfinished business sitting right next to him in this field. Zacchaeus Brocks, the man who beat Brown by 0.02 of a second back in June, is also racing in Oregon. Brocks became the first high schooler in American history to break the 13-second barrier when he ran that 12.98. If both men make it through to the final healthy and sharp, This sets up a rematch of one of the tightest finishes junior hurdling has ever produced. Here's what makes Brown's story different from a typical one-race breakout. This isn't a single fast time that came out of nowhere. It's a pattern building in real time. National record in June. An even faster national record in August on the world stage, with a mistake baked into the run. 2 record-breaking performances 7 weeks apart on the same track, under completely different levels of pressure. That's not luck. That's a hurdler figuring out exactly how to close the gap between himself and the fastest junior athlete who has ever lived. There's also the wind to think about, because wind can make or break how legitimate a fast time really is. His June record came with a negative wind reading, meaning the conditions were actually working against him, not helping him. His August time came with barely any wind assistance at all, well within the legal range. Neither performance got an artificial boost from the elements. Both times are clean, legitimate, and repeatable under normal conditions. It also helps to understand just how young this athlete still is. Brown is only 19 years old. He's a freshman at the University of Georgia, meaning he ran both of these historic times before he had even finished a full year of college-level training. Most hurdlers spend years building toward times in the 12.9 range. Brown reached it while he was still adjusting to a new coaching staff, a new training group, and a completely new level of competition. Before this season, Brown was already one of the most decorated high school hurdlers in the country. He won a national age group title at the AAU Junior Olympics in 2024. He was named North Carolina's top track and field athlete 2 years running. A lot of high school stars hit a wall in their first year of college track. Brown did the opposite. He used his freshman season to smash the ceiling that had existed in American junior hurdling for years. So, what happens next? The final in Eugene will decide whether Brown becomes a world champion, or whether he walks away for a second time this year with the faster resume and no title to show for it. That's exactly the story that played out in June. Fastest qualifier of the day, second place finisher when it counted most. If he wins this time, he joins a short list of American hurdlers who own both a national junior record and a world junior title in the same calendar year. If he loses again in another photo finish, real questions will start about whether he can close out the biggest races of his life, even while running historic times to get there. One more thing worth knowing before this race goes off. The World U20 record has stood for years because almost nobody on the planet gets close to it. Brown is now within 0.2 of a second of the fastest junior time ever recorded in the history of the sport. 0.2 of a second at this level of competition is the entire difference between being good and being legendary. Every rival lining up in that final already knows what Brown ran in the heats. Every one of them knows he did it, while clipping a hurdle on the way to the finish. That kind of performance sends a message before the starting gun even fires. It tells the whole field exactly what they are racing against.